Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're all live again for the special episode this Monday. It is July 2nd. We are about to come up on our Independence Day, but Caitlin is here and they just had Canadian Day. So happy Canadian, or what would I
I mean,
say?
it can be Canadian Day. I'm totally fine with that. We have fireworks, we have butter tarts, we had a lot of beer. It was a good day. So I'm happy you guys are getting yours in the middle of the week tomorrow.
Yeah.
But extra long holidays.
Yeah, it sucks that mine is on my telework day, so it's like I just lost the day period. So, but whatever, that's for another day. We got my man here, Will, with us. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? Another fine evening on the big gold belt, and I feel like we are part of an international coalition tonight. We got north of the border, we got down under, we got America, we got everybody involved tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm almost nervous that I'm so excited. But I've been wanting to hold this interview for a long time, and it's finally happening, and a lot of stuff to talk about, and all roads lead to this Friday and Saturday. But we do have the former Heart of SHIMMER champion, the current PWWA champion, and everyone knows she is the official Dennys champion. Miss Shazza, what's going on?
Hey. Yes, I am the official Dennys champion. I defeated all other Australians in my battle to become the champion of Dennys.
There's no denying that. I mean, your campaign, the merch, everything leads to that being adequate. Now we just gotta get you the sponsorship. You know, that's what we do here.
I'm about that sponsorship life.
So yes, you are. I know now, and others may know, but you are on American soil right now. You've already worked some promotions. You're working 3 shows this weekend. I mean, you're just not letting off the gas with the traveling and just everything. Like, so, you know, tell us about the long struggle. I mean, for anyone who hasn't been under a rock, Australia is a long flight. So tell us a little bit about that.
It's a very long flight, and you can feel very isolated from wrestling in general in Australia. Like, even though there's always been wrestling in Australia, I don't feel until like maybe last year, or maybe like even just the year before that, people started to realize that like there was good wrestling in Australia.
Yeah.
So we've all had to kind of like travel over here to even get minutely noticed, but it's hyping up now, so hopefully one day everyone will have to take the like 14-15 hour flight to see us in Australia, and it will be reversed and we won't have to fly 15 hours to wrestle successfully. Though I do love being in America. I would live here if I could.
I will say that there's a lot of indications that dream of people making that flight to come see you is going to happen within the next 3 years easily. I think, especially with the big machine making movements towards global domination in wrestling, there seems to be, and there's a show that's going to be there in October. There seems to be a lot of interest in that territory, so I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we're sort of on the cusp of the big boom that England had, or like the UK scene a few years ago. We're like just before their like big boom. So hopefully, like a couple more years, we'll hit UK status. If not, we'll all just move to America and the UK, because that's what we do anyway.
Yeah, so like right now, can you tell us what some of like the upsides and downsides are for the Australia wrestling scene? Like obviously it's still kind of an undiscovered gem, but like is there anything that you think is incredibly special about it that the world should know about, or anything that's incredibly frustrating other than the time difference and the long flights?
It's like, I think the difference is because we don't get to wrestle like consistent. Like we probably wrestle every weekend, but you know, over here you wrestle like Thursday to Sunday, like most weeks, like all the time you get to wrestle. Whereas like in Australia, it's like 1 show a week or maybe 2 shows a week, and then you can have like weekends that you don't have any shows. So I think so that's a downside, but at the same time, it's also a bit of a plus because you get like we get more time to train. So like most of the guys that I wrestle with and most of the people on my like in my like area, we train like 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week because we have the time to, because we don't have as many shows to get to. So I feel like we're our basics get a lot stronger, but we don't get as much in-ring experience. So it also takes us longer to get to that level, like to the level where you're like know exactly what you're doing in front of a crowd, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and I think, like, I also always kind of feel like it's a bit of a catch-22. Like, I think a lot of my success is because I'm Australian and because I'm not, like, oversaturated in the American scene, so to speak. Whereas I think I wouldn't have, like, I mean, not that I haven't shot to fame by any means, but, like, I don't think I would be in a position that I'm in if I was just one of the girls that had to struggle. Like, when I started the scene in America would have been a lot harder to break into from being an American, whereas being an Australian coming in, it was, I guess, a little bit easier. Not to say that I hadn't worked for it, because I feel like
no,
I
absolutely.
But yeah, but at the same time, if I'd come in these days, like girls coming in these days, it's like there's so much more women's wrestling and it's so much more respected, and so there's just like it's taking over. Whereas when I started 10 years ago, and like women's wrestling was still very much the
the sideshow.
Yeah, the sideshow. Like it was very much like I remember specifically being told, like, I think I was like struggling with suplexes when I first started, and someone was like, "Oh, it doesn't really matter. All you really need to know how to do is slap and pull some hair." Like, like it was like, "Oh, we won't really bother, like, fixing this that you're obviously struggling with, because it won't actually matter in the long run." So I honestly didn't know how to do a suplex for like a good year or two, because people were just like, "Oh, no, you don't need to know how to do it. It's not something you're going to do."
The basics were a bit different back then, 10 years ago, for the ladies on the scene.
Exactly.
I just got to let you know. So Mike just messaged me, Mike of Nova Pro, the owner of Nova Pro, and he just brought to my attention, and I see it right now, that someone right now on Monday Night Raw has a sign that says Shazza McKenzie for the Macon Towns Classic 2 and NXT.
Really?
Look, if you can see this, wait.
What timing?
Y'all see that?
My God. Look at that.
They're not listening to this because they're at Raw.
That guy's a hero.
They'll hear it later. They'll hear it later.
Hey, look, I'm gonna be there. I mean, I would be more than excited if that was a thing.
I mean, I'm ready to do any and everything.
That's right. I mean, look, you fit the mold for what they look for and everything, as far as trying to get someone from a different demographic and representing the nation. And obviously, you've already been accustomed to being in NXT.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that would just be damn awesome.
So I guess the question is who is in Albany, New York tonight that brought that sign to Raw that's getting you some publicity all the way up there?
Yeah, and he's like right on the ramp. I just see it. Yeah, he's.
I don't know. I hope that person will message me at least when this is all done, because I have no idea.
They're putting in a good word, especially with Steph out there right now. It's like perfect timing.
Yeah. Make sure Steph knows. Shazza Mac is the girl.
Yeah, that is a thing. Oh, okay, so I'm just saying that got me a little excited. But so 14. No, I'm sorry, not 4. Why am I getting 14 hours? How long is that flight exactly?
Well, it's 13 on the way over and then 15 on the way back, because we are going against the wind on the way back. So
that's right.
2 hours.
And you're going back in time too. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so I was gonna say, so what do you do? And I mean, this is me and you talking here, because remember I told you before that I was supposed to be going here in November, and just long story short, that may not happen now, because my cousin that lives there is coming here to get sworn in. Apparently you can't get sworn in there, so she has to make arrangements to come here to do it, which puts my trip to going there on standby if she gets her date that she's looking to do. So, but that's to Western Australia and Perth, and I think that is listed around like 20-ish or something with a couple of stops. But yeah, my question is, what in the world do you do for that long?
This time I bought Wi-Fi. Like, we're not always, not all, like most of the planes don't have Wi-Fi for the international flights, but this one had Wi-Fi, so I paid the $20 and I had Wi-Fi. But then I also watched like 7 movies, and I can't even tell you what movies I watched at this point. Well, like I remember that I watched Mean Girls, but that's about all I remember. Yeah, like I was just like, I don't know, the selection wasn't that great, so I was just like clicking random buttons and watching random things. At no point was I like, yeah, this is what I want to watch.
I mean, I done the 10 hours to Hawaii, and I pretty much like sleep deprived myself the entire day before it. And so when I woke up, I was like 2 hours out. So I was like, all right, I think I could do that. But then I'm thinking like, but then I still got a bunch more hours to go. I just don't know what I'm gonna do with all that time.
Yeah.
But I think this is worth a discussion. So apparently a lot of wrestlers has having like flight nightmares left and right. And considering that I know there's not a one-shot flight here, who if you had a preference, or who is your preference of flying, or do you have any flight disasters of your own for all the travel you've been doing?
So my favorite like international flight, like favorite people to fly with internationally would be probably Qantas, who are an Australian airline, but they're very good. I very much like them. My biggest like flight disaster was it was for a shimmer one time. We were supposed to fly from Florida to, I want to say, St. Louis. So we went to St. Louis, and then we were supposed to fly to Chicago from there. And then when we got to St. Louis, the plane got delayed, and then they flew us somewhere else to fly us. I don't know. We ended up going somewhere else, and then they were going to fly us to Chicago from there. But then when we got to that second place, maybe that place was St. Louis, so we got there, and then they were like, oh, we can't fly out of here because there's a tornado. Well, cool. So what can we do? And they were like, oh, well, no, first they just like delayed our plane. And then I remember at one point we were just sitting in the airport, and this siren went off, and they were like, tornado warning, tornado warning, tornado warning. And we looked out the window, and they could see the bloody tornado like going past.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we look around, and like everyone has disappeared, and we're like, where is everyone gone? Because apparently everyone that works in airports knows that you just hide in the bathrooms, but no one thought to tell us this. We were just like, oh, where's everyone gone? Because I guess you stand to the giant glass windows if there's a tornado coming at you. And then eventually we figured out that everyone was in the bathrooms, and we hid in the bathrooms for a bit. But then we got stuck in St. Louis for a night, and then they wouldn't even pay for like a hotel because it was a natural disaster. And then it was a runabout. But I saw a tornado, so that was kind of cool. But in a uncool way, because we don't have tornadoes in Australia, so or at least if we do.
So many other poisonous things that want to kill you.
Yeah.
Everything. Just everything.
Three things that blow us away.
That is the one difference. So I was going to ask, I saw you on NXT a couple of months ago, and that was super exciting. Because I was like, oh, Shazza on actual TV, which was super, super cool to see you. So can you tell us anything about like what that experience was like what the whole TV taping thing was, like straight for TV? I guess you probably had some dark matches with NXT before this.
No, that was my second NXT match. I did a match back in 2015 against Emma. Yeah, so that was really cool because, fun story, because obviously we're both Australian. So I was her last match before she went to WWE, so I beat her in her last match and sent her off to WWE and stuff before she was there. And so then when she needed someone to wrestle, she knew I was in town, and she specifically asked for me, which was cannot thank her enough.
Oh yeah.
So we had our match, and like they put over on commentary like that I beat her in her last match, and like that this was like the comeuppance and stuff of that and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. And then obviously it's been a few years since then, and I've had tryouts, and I've had like a tryout in 2016 when they were down in Australia and stuff. So I don't know, I just constantly am sort of trying to get employed. But I guess we all are, really. So I just sort of hounded them enough to the point where they invited me down to the tapings and stuff because I was over here. And when I got there, they just let me know that I had a match that day with Kyrie, and it was just like it all. I was horribly sick at the time, which like I watch it and I can just see myself be really sick. But at the time, I was like, yeah, I'm faking this really well. Like no one can tell I'm sick. So,
no, I could not tell.
I was like, yeah, I'm nailing this because I just had to like just don't be sick because like. It was the week after Mania that we filmed it, and on WrestleMania I was in New Orleans and stuff, and I was like, I had a ticket to WrestleMania and I was too sick, like I could not get out of bed on WrestleMania day.
Oh my god.
Like I was so sick. I've never been that sick in my life, and then I passed it on to everyone else, obviously. But yeah, so that was like first day kind of like out of bed and out doing stuff since then. I was like, oh, just throw myself straight into this. But yeah, so it was cool. Like any chance that I get to be in or around a WWE ring is like, that's everything. That's what we're working for. That's what we're doing. All that stuff.
Yeah.
You got your own Jumbotron, you got your own music and everything. It was really cool.
Yeah, I love
the music
song.
was tight too. Yeah.
It's a sign for bigger things to come, maybe.
I'm just saying, August 7th, Full Sail. I'll be there. You should too.
You didn't just get the cold standing already in the ring, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Shazza, another opponent.
Yeah.
you got the full entrance. That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
You have to practice your entrance in front of everyone. They all stare at you. They probably don't even.
You did nail it.
You have to go out and strike your pose, or like try out different poses to strike for everybody.
I think it's more like just to make sure that the camera knows where to go when everyone gets in the ring differently. So it's just to make sure that the camera guys know what points they have to hit and stuff. If I'm gonna like get in, what side I'm getting in the ring and stuff like that.
Oh, cool, that makes sense.
Speaking of you being sick down in New Orleans, I mean, apparently there was some type of infection or something that went around because tons of people were sick. Like,
yeah.
So, but to miss WrestleMania, yikes. But even still, if you was even remotely sick, hungover, or whatever it may have been, that was 9 hours. So you had to be battle tested and completely healthy to do it because it was a war. You versus your soul in there.
Yeah. No, I was really bummed that I missed it because obviously they had the women's battle royale, and Dakota Kai and Peyton Royce were in it. And I was like, oh, I've missed like their first WrestleManias. Like that's like because they're my friends.
Yeah.
Since it is storming outside.
I heard that, and I thought it was here because Maryland weather is bipolar. I mean, it was. Well, let's talk about weather real quick because Caitlin apparently has 100 and what degree weather?
100. Okay, quote unquote. It feels like 114 Fahrenheit. No, I had to convert that because every other civilized country uses Celsius.
Oh boy.
Metric system.
What does this mean?
Oh boy.
Dividing
and I just
crazy.
It is a weird heat up here. Like I cannot tell you, which is like thankful that a lot of the pro wrestling, like the indie promotions up here, at least run in buildings with air conditioning. Not like some of the other ones that are not as with the times. So we don't die of heat stroke at wrestling shows.
That's nice.
That's the dream.
Anywho, so yeah, WrestleMania weekend. Another thing I wanted to note about that, not just WrestleMania weekend, but that month of April alone. Now this may be unofficial, but as of cagematch.net, that month you worked 13 matches they have listed, and that is of your 10-year career, the most you've ever worked in a month at one time.
I mean, It's the most I've worked in America in one time.
Okay. I figured that.
Yeah.
Get on a
cage match misses pretty much all of my
yeah.
which are pretty regular. But yeah, I did work a lot that month. It was good. It was a good month. It was a good time.
That sounds like a pretty intense month. So in your career so far, do you have one favorite wrestler that you've loved to wrestle more than any others? Is it hard to name just one, like favoritism?
Well, at the moment, my favorite person in the world to wrestle is Jessica Troy.
Okay.
And I'm saying that because she's in the room.
She's in the room.
I put in a good word.
She genuinely is, like, I think more people need to see her and see what she does and stuff, because I think she's fantastic, and I've watched her grow over the last, like, 2-3 years into a great wrestler. And yeah, I think there's so many, like, everyone I'm going to list is Australian, because I think that the Australian girls are such a good crop. Like,
yeah.
Like Madison Eagles, obviously, love working with her. Kellyanne, Charlie Evans. I miss wrestling Billy Kay and Peyton when they were Australians with us, but now they're off being famous people. But
I must be so proud of them, though. They look so great out there. Just like it's such good representation too.
I love them so much. Yeah. But yeah, like we've been very lucky with the girls that have come out of Australia. So it's just that there isn't that many of us. So that's why we travel over here, so we can wrestle more people.
As weird as that statement sounds, it really does seem like it's a lot of you all, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like, well, now that at the moment there's like 6 or 7 of us that are like in our little group of girls that train together and do shows together and stuff. But there's obviously other girls around the country and stuff that we also wrestle. But yeah, like we have a pretty good little group of girls in our little area, but we always want more girls. We always want more girls to work hard and train hard and wrestle and just want, like that's what I love. Like when I came over here in April, I think like I wrestled like 6 or 7 people I'd never wrestled before, which was like that's the whole reason I come here, like because there is so many girls here. There's so many people that like there's so many possibilities. Like in the room that I'm sitting in right now, I can look across and there's like a Shimmer poster. And it has like the girls, and I can like there's like at least 7 or 8 of these girls that I've never wrestled. So on this like one poster.
Yeah.
So there's heaps of possibilities, and there's heaps of girls that I'd love to wrestle.
It's a bigger talent pool available than I guess it would be back home, where it's a much more limited situation. Now, I've always heard going back, I mean, I didn't even realize that you were 10 years in. So, I mean, the differences between now and 10 years ago have just got to be gigantic. I mean, I always remember hearing from folks that were just fans in Australia, how it would be so hard just to like feel kind of connected to the wrestling scene because you were just so far removed from it, and just seeing shows in like a good time frame and not seeing them like weeks after they happened. And I would always hear horror stories about that. I was like, oh yeah, I finally got to see WrestleMania like a month later. There was no other way to do it. It just literally would take that long to getting around to seeing it for the tapes to travel, I guess. But nowadays it's not so much like that. But I would imagine back 10 years ago when you were first going to get into things, it had to be a lot harder of a road.
10 years ago, it wasn't that bad. We weren't tape trading. Like Raw. So Raw airs in Australia. Like American time, when it airs live in America, it's like Tuesday morning for us, and then SmackDown would be like Wednesday morning for us. And back when I started watching wrestling, Raw would air on the Friday night, and then SmackDown would air on Saturday night. Like, so that's how long it would take to get to us. Which meant that, like, when I started watching wrestling, I just stopped having a life because I wanted to watch the wrestling. Because this was also, like, before, like, DVR or whatever that, like, the stuff where you, like, tape stuff and
tape in advance.
Yeah, before all that stuff. So, you would just, if you wanted to watch the wrestling, you just watch it there. But then, like over the time, now it airs live in Australia, which is also not convenient because I have to go to work and do stuff at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday and a Wednesday because I need to do something with my life. So it still airs at a very inconvenient time, but the internet's a lot fancier now, and I keep up with Twitter, and then I make sure if there's anything that I'm like, oh, I need to see this, I'll make sure I see it and stuff like that. And there's all the networks and everything. Like, I'm subscribed to like 20 different wrestling networks. I don't even know.
It all age of streaming.
So when the WWE pay-per-view happens in October, we're going to be the ones watching it in a weird time zone.
Very true.
It'll be like 2 a.m. here, and we'll be watching this pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, look at this normal time. Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch an interview of yours from another show, and you were talking about how you would order your Shimmer DVDs, and they'll come like a month later.
Oh yeah, yeah. If not more, like it's the like postage system is still horrible.
Yeah,
like it's still at least 2 weeks for something from overseas to get to me, unless I pay like, I don't know, hundreds of dollars for shipping.
And then customs still hold it up, so it doesn't even matter. So
yeah, exactly.
And I can honestly relate because my car is Australian, and when I had to get parts for it, and it comes from there, from the Holden factory, rest in peace. It would say, "Oh yeah, it'll just take 7 to 10 days," and 7 to 10 days will turn into like 7 to 10 months, and I just like it was just a shifter knob. Like, what took so long? So.
Bless the Holdens.
Yeah. Great cars, man. Great cars. So one thing I will say is so you have been very vocal about once wrestling came into your life, you were just all in for it. And from my experience from friends of mine who are also Australian, a lot of Australians too, and I think it just caters to why this was such a big thing for you, is that Australians aren't complacent. Like, by any means, if there's an opportunity to go see the world, you guys are gone in a heartbeat. and I was telling you about a friend of mine who works in the caves in there, or the mines, I'm sorry. Yeah. And if anybody's not familiar with that, they is it oil, or I forget what it is that they
I think it's coal. I've been corrected that
coal.
It's coal.
Oh, coal, yes. And they would do like what, 3 months in there, make like 15,000 or something, and then the whole rest of the year they're just gone.
Yep.
So I guess my question is, like, once you realize what it was going to take to legitimately be dedicated in this profession, and you realize travel and stuff came along, ideally, what was just the first place that came to your mind that you was like, I want to go there and wrestle?
Well, okay, so here's my fun story. So when I started watching wrestling when I was like 15, 16. Like, I was a teenager. I was in year 10 at school. So I was reasonably late for any sort of, especially for a female to start watching. I was pretty late to be like, yeah, this is what I want to do. But the second I started watching, I was just like, yeah, this is it. Like, no, like, nothing will stop me. So in Australia at the time, you can leave school after year 10 and you have a school certificate, or you can do year 11 and 12 and you get a high school certificate. And being the idiot that I am and obsessed with wrestling as I was like, well, I don't need school anymore. I'm going to go be a professional wrestler. Bad idea. Don't do that, kids. I mean, it's worked out okay. I've gotten my life together, but it was retrospectively thinking probably should have stayed in school. But I quit school so that I could go and I could get a job and I could save up money so I could be a wrestler. My original idea was that I was going to save up all this money and go to Lance Storm's. But, of course, I saved up all this money and went to the closest school that I could go to that would take my money, which was a school that took a lot of my money and very overpriced. So I had to save up a fair bit of money. So, like, basically I always had this idea that I had to work like my job to make the money so that I could go do the wrestling. So like my first year of like within my first year as a professional wrestler, I'm pretty sure I wrestled in every single state of Australia that had wrestling, which is like, it doesn't sound like a lot because we don't have 50 states like America, but for someone to do that in their first year of wrestling back then was still pretty, it's pretty unheard of these days still. Like, it's still like, it takes a while for people to get out there and stuff, but I was just like, no, I'm doing this. Like, this is everything to me. And I moved to Melbourne, and I like was part of the birth of Melbourne City Wrestling, which is the company in Australia that I guess gets a lot of press and stuff because they've got the most footage and stuff out there. And so I moved there, I moved back home, and so I moved all over the place, and I was just constantly working to make the money so that I could go and wrestle, because there is no money in wrestling in Australia. It's getting a lot better now where we're not losing money, but you definitely lose your money the first few years in Australian wrestling. And then in 2012, I was like, so all my friends had kind of like done like either Lance Storms, or people used to go to, it was really popular with Australians to go to California and train. I don't remember what school's called, but it was with Jesse Hernandez.
Oh yeah. God, what is that called?
I don't remember, but it was super popular with Australians at the time to go and like do like 3 months there. And so when I was in 2012, I was just like, I'm sick of all my friends like traveling and doing all these things, and I just like quit my job and took all my money and went to Philadelphia for 6 weeks and just trained at Chikara and trained at Ring of Honor, and just was like, I just need to go be a wrestler. And that's when I did my first Shimmer trip, and then I just sort of kept coming back and kept annoying people until they realized that they weren't going to get rid of me.
As dedication.
And now I come back lots.
I did not know that you worked Chikara, and that's kind of that makes me wonder, because I did see, and now I know upon my homework for the show, that you did have aspirations as working with Chikara, but you're going to be working with Chikara come August 31st. So I'm trying to say, so what happened in that immediate gap? I mean, you worked Quackenbush seminars and stuff, and obviously you got in the ring. So was it just traveling or just dates that line up or something for you? Because like you said, that's been one of your biggest goals you wanted to do.
Yeah, being wrestling for Chikara has always been like the absolute be all and end all for me. When I was over there in 2012, I got to wrestle for Wrestling is Fun. So so like their little sister sort of developmental companies. So that was like, for a long time, I thought that was just the closest I was ever going to get to that dream of wrestling for Chikara. But then, it's like, I mean, there's never really been shows that have lined up with when I've been in the States and stuff. So I've never really tried to chase it down too much. Yeah. But then when he was down here in October last year, I was sitting there, I was thinking, I was like, oh, Jess Troy's trained at Chikara, Madison Eagles trained at Chikara, I've trained at Chikara. Wouldn't it be like a really cool idea if like the 3 girls from PWA that have trained at Chikara were a team in King of Trios? And so I just kind of like talked to the girls about it, and then we were like, yeah, maybe we should see if Quack would be interested in this. And then he was, and I was like, this is the really coolest thing ever, because I'm ridiculous. When he said that like we could do it, I like legitimately was crying, because it's just like so ridiculoly ridiculous to me that I would be in King of Trios, because I've watched all of it. I've got like I like Chikaratopia. I'm like obsessed. I love Chikara. It's just fun. It just makes wrestling fun.
Exactly.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah, Crack is a genius, and he frequently runs seminars at Nova Pro. And God, if it was for fans, and I know a lot of fans have also said they wanted to attend it, but apparently it's only for wrestlers. But I mean, to be able to be under his tutelage and just pick his brain, I mean, that's gotta be awesome feeling. Then to actually work for Jakar, it gets no better than that.
He's so smart.
And that's and King of Trios will be August 31st through September 2nd for anyone in this immediate Philly and Washington, D.C. area.
Yes, please come watch.
So,
please.
So, let's see. So, I forgot what else I was about to bring up. Something else just crossed my mind that quick.
I know. I can pop something in here really quick because when I was doing my research, this came up, and I was like, I gotta ask about this because maybe it's just someone having fun on the Wikipedia.
Oh,
oh no!
Exactly what this is.
Oh no!
As extensive of a world traveler as you are, Shazza, have you apparently wrestled in Antarctica in the last month or so?
I definitely remember doing that. I'm pretty sure I lost as well.
Apparently, that's what it says.
The match in Antarctica. That definitely happened. I recall that very, very predominantly in my brain.
Yep, just under 26 minutes. Apparently, this matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on Wikipedia. It must be true.
It's true.
Oh, absolutely.
When does the internet lie? The internet never lies.
Internet does not lie, guys. You've got to believe it.
That's a funny one.
I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't hear anything about this.
Oh, it's true. Don't worry. It's definitely true.
So, I know what I want to tell back to a little bit. Then we'll get towards the end of what you'll be doing this weekend. So two questions actually. One, for all the traveling you're doing, you have to be like a platinum member of some airline, right?
Oh, people will listen to this and get very upset at me because every time I mention it to another wrestler, they're just really upset.
Oh my God, I hope you're not gonna say what I think you are.
I do not have any loyalty.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Oh my God!
You can fly in the world for free.
I know. I'm an absolute mess.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show.
Oh my Lord.
I know.
I mean,
like to not think about like the amount of free stuff I could have. It would hurt my heart too much.
Man, I mean, I was just waiting for you to just blow it out the gym. Like, yeah, I'm platinum with this airline. I mean, first class for free. Blah blah blah. You even get into the Delta. What do you call it? The Delta Club. Where you could get some stuff before. I mean, I just look out the window, look through the glass, like, man, one day that'll be me.
Yeah, one time. Well, Madison Eagles is a platinum M something, I'm pretty sure. And one time she let me go into the lounge with her, and I was like, oh, I should probably sort my life out. So I'm in here all the time, but I did.
And speaking of her too, I know she's been sick and had to pull for some shows, so definitely want to send her get well soon. I was looking forward to seeing her come this Friday at Nova Pro. So get well very, very soon and return back, of course.
Yes, please.
Of course.
I've got to beat her up when I get home.
And then my last question, then we'll get into the shows, is so upon your first time of coming to America, let's talk about some of the things that was a culture shock to you. Now, I can refer back to a few things from my little cousin. First time she seen snow, I remember she freaked out. When we took her to the grocery store one day, we were getting stuff, and I picked up a Lunchable, and she almost lost her mind. She was just like, "Wait, all this is already like made and pre-packed." I was like, "Yeah, what?" But, tell us some.
I think a lot of it is just like the different words that we use for things, like
bathroom.
Yeah, bathroom, and you got like, wait, do I call it the bathroom?
Potty. Toilet.
I don't call it the potty. I call
toilet.
it the toilet.
Yes.
Yeah, I will ask someone if I can go to the toilet, and they'll be like, "What?" The bathroom.
Yeah,
the bathroom. And thongs is a big one because I wear thongs, but you guys call them flip flops, and that's a bit of an issue.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Thongs a lot.
Yeah. Bathing suit. You call it a
swimmers.
bather?
Or Kazi.
Oh,
Kazi.
Kazi.
Kazi. We just shorten everything and then sometimes add A or E on the end of it. Kind of. I don't like. There's just like lots of like
Vacation.
little thing. Yeah.
Holiday.
Oh,
That one drives me nuts.
Yeah. The word vacation drives me nuts. It's an annoying word. It's not a good word. Yeah, it's just like lots of little things like that. I like that everything here is like you can get so many like portion sized little snacks. Like everything is already like separated into like one person snack sizes. Like supermarket. Like you can walk in and get your apple in like 5 different servings cut up and ready to go. Like you don't get that in Australia. You just buy a whole apple and then you have to cut it yourself or you just eat it like a regular.
Now I've never been to Canada, so I'm not sure if this is a thing there too. But I know the biggest thing that has to be a shock is after you are ready to get your check from a place, there's a line for tip and total, and that tip line is not a thing.
Oh yeah, we do not tip in Australia. We do not at all. So
wow.
Well, we also like a minimum wage is like $18-19 an hour.
Yeah.
So
no,
we don't.
That has to be something that's totally understood because I was just like, that's gotta be something that's included with the money.
No, that's why we don't tip. Like we'll tip very rarely if someone gives us very exceptional service, but it's extremely rare. Like everyone, we pay people a bit higher, so we don't have. And like tax, that's an annoying one. Tax, why is the tax not included in the price of stuff?
Yeah, that's a big one.
So annoying. Like if I get something and it says that it's $4.69, and I go up to the counter and suddenly it's like $5, I'm like, what just happened? Like, why did you not just include that in the label of the product that I'm purchasing so I can get the correct amount of money? That drives me crazy.
I just got mildly depressed thinking about like you guys don't even understand like the pain we deal with Uncle Sam, who is the icon for tax. So this invisible guy collects all this money and we just don't even ever see where it goes. I mean, they used to say, oh, it goes to the streets in school, but I mean, if you listen to the radio or the news enough, you're like, yeah, but we're complaining about schools all day. And I just blew a tire because it was this gigantic pothole in the middle of the road. So
I mean, we pay tax. Like we pay tax on all of our goods and services, and we pay tax out of our wages. But they just take it's just included. Like you just purchase a product, and if it says that it's $5, that $5 includes the tax. So I don't need to worry when I go to the counter. I just give them $5. I don't have to be like, oh, maybe it's going to be $5.20 today.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know?
Maybe more in America, they need to have it spelled out how much of your money is going to Trump's golf courses. That's the only thing I can think of. So all your tax dollars are going, gentlemen.
And how much of it's going to greens fees? There you go.
Exactly.
But did you? I know another thing, and then I'm definitely switching from it now. So another thing I know that is maybe an American phenomenon is, and maybe you got your first one at the last Nova Pro show, but Fanny Packs.
Oh, I did have okay. So it's a bum bag, first of all.
Bum bag.
Yeah, it's a bum bag. It's not a fanny pack. Because so also fannies are different in a fanny to you guys is your butt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in England too. England, your fanny's your ass.
Okay, well, fanny is not that in Australia. Your fanny is the front.
Oh, so it's your yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I knew that. Oh shit.
That's why fanny pack is very overwhelming when I hear the term. That's why it's bum bag.
This is fine. I want to learn more.
Yeah,
I love it. I love this. Well, they're so popular now that it's. But even us calling them bum bags just sounds ridiculous over here.
Yeah, just the naming them anything is ridiculous.
Wrestler's best friend, though. You're just wearing your fanny pack and get all your merch money in it and everything you need. Love fanny pack.
It's the smartest thing I've ever done is purchase a bum bag. For
not fashionable, but they're wonderful. I love them.
No, yeah, exactly. I got over stuffing money in my like gear and it being sweaty. It didn't seem like the right thing to do anymore. Needed to class it up with a bum bag.
Yeah, I know you were sporting that nice Nova Pro one when you was in town, and
all about it.
I mean, like Caitlin said, if you're not a wrestler until you have a fanny pack,
nope,
that's just it.
Exactly.
I can only imagine too. You want to keep the money in one place so you don't have somebody like steal it from your merch table or something. So keep everything on you. It's very safe.
Yeah.
You don't have to put somebody in a headlock or a suplex if they're taking your stuff.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be very good at that. Not good in a real fighting situation.
Probably for the best.
So, okay, so this topic, because I'm going to not give fame to, and when I mean fame by stating any individual names not worthy of being said, but if anyone's been a fan of yours, obviously everyone is, and keeps an eye on your social media, you made a post about, what has it been now, Caitlin?
Sorry?
Her post, how long has it been? About a month now?
About a month or so.
A couple months, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say, one, the courage is unparalleled. I mean, that takes a massive amount of courage, and for all the reasons, because of the fact of uncertainty, how it may go. I mean, it comes with negativity, but nonetheless, the positivity is all that matters. And for you, a 10-year vet now, and to be at the iconic level, because, you know, maybe that's not something you thought about upon posting it, but afterwards, that's absolutely the stage that you took. And not that your age is important, but, you know, you can look back at the younger people who's just getting started, maybe trying to build the courage to step out into the real world themselves. Something that you wanted to do for a long time, and now that you're able to, and now that you are publicly, and with social media and everything too, it's easier to contact people and stuff like that. Times have changed drastically. Some things haven't changed, and for the fact of you to be an iconic figure for change, for positivity, and others to reach out to you, from me and from everyone on the show, we all just want to say, you know, thank you for being that person, and giving back into the community in the right way.
Oh, thank you. Like it was a hard story to share, and it wasn't the first time I shared that story. It was just probably the first time that it hit a bunch of dirt sheets and blew up the way it did. And the reaction that I've gotten to it has always been very much on a positive, like very positive. And there's always going to be a few people that will be negative because it's the internet, and that's just how it is. But I know from the messages that I've received and from talking to different people that I know that I've done the right thing in sharing my story, and I know that I'm not alone in sharing in the story that I've told, and that is why it's so important for me to share that story, because people need to realize that it is a much bigger problem, and that my story is just an example of things that happen regularly and still happen regularly, and the goal is to stop that behavior happening. It's to stop people in the locker room seeing anything like that, any remote behavior like that as okay, as a joke, as a rib, as anything, because I think we're just brought up on this culture in wrestling that it's a boys' club and boys will be boys, and that needs to stop. And we need to remember that at the end of the day, we're all humans, and whilst we live in this weird subculture of professional wrestling, where we have a bunch of different rules, the rules of humanity still apply to us.
Yeah, anything that can make the wrestling industry safer for women is definitely a huge, awesome step forward. So it's really amazing that you took that initiative to tell that story, because if we're not talking about it, then it just kind of all goes under the radar and nothing will ever change, right? So that was really good. That was a really great move.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think because you was already my favorite, but after that came out, I mean, I was just like, yeah, it's just powerful. And you know, you're within the ranks of people like me and Yim as well, who's also been an advocate for. And to the statement that you made, you know, we gotta break the trend of people thinking some of this stuff is acceptable, or even the people who have no clue if it's right or wrong to know that this is a definitive wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So, all right. But a brighter note now, we couldn't have a show without talking about, you know, your favorite thing ever.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How does, I got to hear it right from the beginning. How does an Australian girl discover the delicacy that is Dennys?
So the original Shimmer, like, so I think it comes back to Shimmer. So the original Shimmer Hotel was literally a 2-minute walk to Dennys. So that would be where we would get breakfast. That's where we would get dinner. That's where we would end up at 3 a.m. after all of our tapings. It's just, it was where we would go. And it's just, like, to explain it is that in Australia, when we finish wrestling, so say we finish at midnight, like packing down the ring, everything like that, we're on our way home, we're hungry, we want to go get some food. The only thing, and I mean literally the only thing that is open after like 10 p.m. is McDonald's. Like, and there's no choice in McDonald's. It's you getting a burger, or you're getting some weird salad if you're trying to be healthy, and you're getting crap. Like, you know, like borderline, you're getting crap. So when you come to America and you walk into this beautiful building where you get to sit down and someone serves you and they bring you, and you can order something. You can order dinner, you can order lunch, you can order breakfast, you can order like just snacks, you can order a milkshake, you can order dessert, you can order anything you want, and you can change it as much as you want. That's the best thing in America. You can change a meal so that what you have ordered is completely different to what you've just ordered something completely different. You can order whatever it is, and then without this, but add this, and you've just got a completely different meal, and nobody's going to deny, and it's great.
God bless America.
Like, it's actually great, and that is why I love Dennys.
So of course this begs the question. We gotta know. So what's the go-to? Is it a Moons Over Miami? Is it an All-American Slam? Is it one of the burgers? What is Shazza's go-tos on the Dennys menu?
It will depend on what mood I'm in. So like for breakfast, usually I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be healthy. I'm like starting my day off right, so I'll get a Fit Slam. And then depending on if I'm being healthy or not at night, so, like the last 2 times that I went, so like I went 2 times. The other 2 yesterday and the day before, those 2 times I got the Gouda and chicken skillet, because that was like a free meal. I love Gouda.
The skillets are strong. The skillets have a lot of strength.
Yeah. They had, when they were doing the the solo special, they had a skillet that had the hash browns in the skillet.
Ooh.
The great, like instead of potato in the skillet.
Yeah.
It was heaven. So that's probably, if they could bring that back, that was probably my favorite thing I've ever eaten there. But yeah, we don't have hash browns the way you guys have hash browns. Like, we don't have those crispy little cut up things. That just doesn't exist in Australia. So just everything.
By the way, they might still make that. I mean, it's like one of those, like, what they call like the dark menu type of things. So you might
still secret menu stuff.
Dark menu.
They might have that for you.
That's next time.
But we need to know, what is the go-to meal after working the show?
Okay, well, it depends if I have to work another show. So you mean like my Sunday night meal?
Yeah.
Like Sunday night.
You're wrapping up the weekend.
Then it's probably like they have like these like caramel and banana pancake things there. I had one time. Whenever they have peanut butter pancakes.
Yes. The peanut butter chocolate ones.
Yes, those.
What?
The new ones, the new Dennys pancakes are tremendous since they redid them. I do a YouTube channel where we review junk food, and we specifically reviewed the new Dennys pancakes when they came out, and those peanut butter chocolate ones are the devil. They are the devil. They are amazing. Right. Yeah. Love them.
Awesome pancake puppies. I love a good pancake puppy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We're talking about language. There we go.
I'm just looking at this Dennys menu right now because full disclosure, never set foot in one. We have one in Toronto, like one. And these look insane. How does anyone eat this? This is crazy. peanut butter cream pancake breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Oh wow. This is a lot.
Eggs and bacon with their sugary pancakes.
Oh wow. Wow, Dennys. I have to go now. I have to check this out. Thank you for introducing me to this, whatever all this stuff.
I think Will, it would almost be criminal if you didn't set up what are we gonna try Friday?
I know we're going to figure out something. I mean, we got those new Oreos. Dennys is a little trickier to bring to a building, but we're going to have to figure out something.
Like I'm going to end up at Dennys after the building.
Oh yeah, that's definitely happening.
Yeah, even if we have to wait like another hour, like we did last time.
Look, I just want to let you know that it's primarily my fault every time food does not come or never comes.
Okay, so I'm not sitting at the same table as you next time.
Actually, it's not me. It's Mike. And then it influences to me that it never happened. So me alone is fine. Me and Mike doesn't work.
It's a catastrophe.
Yeah, my milkshake was bomb too, by the way. Yeah. Oh, you had some. That's right.
You just had a milkshake.
I don't know. I just didn't want to chance it. I mean, I ordered nachos at Buffalo Wild Wings and they never came. So I just went very, very limited this time. And I was like, they can't mess up a milkshake, right? All right, I'll throw down this Friday. Too bad Facebook can't be with us.
Yeah, no, she just had surgery. I hope she's doing well.
Yeah, speedy recovery to her as well.
Yeah, I miss her.
So we're talking so much about the weekend, so let's get into it. You are making your return back to Nova Pro. Nova Pro will be having their what is this? Their third annual American Slang 2018. Oh, wow. I've been at every single one of them, and the cars each and every year are just progressively getting better. You were here in April for the Old Dominion Rumble where you faced Jordan Grace, and it's not because anyone had no clue who you were, but the Nova crowd was absolutely, as we always do. You can never come once if we cheer. Please come back. So here you are.
I have to come back like in a month.
Yeah. We this is how we have to do. I mean, we bring you into our home, and you just can't leave. That's just it.
That's fair. That is what it is.
But I gotta say, one important thing is that the Nova fans is like family, and I think that upon you coming, and you know, you're a big deal. But you walked through, you spoke to everyone. I was like, oh yeah, this is the type of people that we want constantly coming in here, because like, you know. Not that I've had any run-ins at Nova, but at other promotions, you know, some of these big names, they don't have times for the fans. But for you to come in and make sure you took time to speak to every single person, and I don't even think you had merch there, but you still stood around and made sure you spoke to people, or people had time to speak to you. So I think, again, that's a big testament to your character, and I'm very, very excited to have you back come this Friday.
Oh, thank you.
And you will be facing another big up-and-coming person and part of the Nova crowd who we have not seemed to release as well, because we need her to keep coming back in Harlow O'Hare. So that's going to be interesting there. I don't know which way the crowd is going to go with this one.
I'm very excited because it's another like first-time matchup for me. So that's the whole reason I come over here, to wrestle people that I can't wrestle back home. So every time I get to wrestle someone completely new, it's a completely different experience, and you never know how the match is going to go, and how it's just an exciting it's just exciting seeing like two different styles come together and make something completely new and different. So I'm very excited. Can't wait.
Harlow has this thing of making people pray. I hope you are not victim to that.
I will avoid praying.
By the way, I have to say when the card was unfolding, I was for a second thinking like, maybe we should rename this card Australian slang. Yeah.
I was there with you. We're going to do an Australian slang seminar though before the show. $100 a pop.
Or payable in Dennys gift cards. One of the two.
Yes, we'll accept Dennys gift cards as payment.
And then right from Nova, you're right on the road, and you got a big double shot going on with Rise up in Naperville, Illinois. So you got some miles ahead of you after Friday night. But I see you got a big matchup with Kimberly right on the horizon.
So I'm wrestling Kimberly on the Saturday night for Rise of the Knockouts, which is Rise 9. So we just had Rise 8 last Friday. I'm losing track of my time. On Friday in LA, and we're in like a 4-way match, and I eliminated her, and then she decided to pull me out of the ring and beat me up, and then throw me back in to get spine busted by Mercedes Martinez, and then I got eliminated. So now we have a score to settle, and we will be settling this score on Saturday night in Naperville.
There you go.
Ooh, I love it.
And if you're not able to make it to Naperville, this will be streaming live on Twitch. Again, this is going to be Rise of the Knockout. So, yeah, that's how you catch Rise. And I don't know if it's been announced yet, but there's a possibility that the Nova Show may be able to be streamed on powerbomb.tv. But if not, if you're in the area, step on down to Virginia and catch you a glimpse of Nova Pros, one of their biggest. Typically, each year, their American Slangs typically put on their biggest cards, and absolutely within this card, it's a possibility of their biggest match to be of the year, and that's literally been a trend the last 2 times.
Yeah, last year it was my favorite show they did all year. It was a hot one from top to bottom last year. And the way the heat is here in the DC area, we were already on track to burn it down this Friday night at the JCC in Fairfax, Virginia.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
No, of course. I will go for the worst, cheesiest lines there is. Hey. I have no shame. No shame.
You are like the pun master, actually. You are. I mean, I don't know how you dropped the ball there, but typically you nail it. And she left you out, so that's that.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, so before we wrap up, any from our side, any additional questions for her?
I am good on my side.
Yeah, we had a great chat. It was covered lots of bases. Like Australian slang, talked about Dennys menus, like everything. Like, where else would you learn any of this? This is great. Like, who needs to watch Raw? It's on right. You need to watch Raw.
I'm probably going to go watch Raw.
Yeah, I am. I will as well.
and just by the way, you're not getting off the show without singing us a line. We all do know that you have a singing background.
I do have a singing background, but not now. Sorry.
So go ahead and let's see. What's Beyonce's latest song?
Kesha's song. I'm really good. Hot and dangerous. If you're one of us, then roll with us, because you made the hipsters fall in love. That's on love, and yes. And everyone in this room hates me. Everyone in this room hates me right now. No, but she's rapping. Well, then I just sang. If Kesha's not a rapper, then she's a singer, and then I just sang. Or
that's a band. That.
I think that counts.
Yeah. Well, we definitely scored that one. We weren't even worthy for that, actually. Well, we all got her back for you, man. I got her back.
It all comes around.
That's what buddies do. I got her back for you. So you have anything you want to plug? Your social medias or any other shows or anything we may have missed.
Oh yeah, I suppose I should plug my social medias. I'm on the Instagram and the Twitter as Shazza _McKenzie, My Facebook is Shazza McKenzie. And then my internet, what else do I have? Oh, Pro Wrestling Tees / Shazza McKenzie, and wrestlermerch.com, Shazza McKenzie. You should definitely purchase from wrestlermerch.com if you're Australian specifically, because that is the best place to go for all Australian professional wrestlers merchandise.
I'll make sure I get that in the description. That's a new one to me, so I'll make sure I get that plugged in for you.
Thank you.
And I forgot about the very first question I wanted to ask you, because I just noticed it today. When did the HEARTcore moniker come about? I love it. I just want to know, where did it come about?
So someone messaged me, a fan messaged me a couple of days ago, and they're like, "Oh, you should be the queen of HEARTcore." And I was like, "Oh, I feel like the queen of blah blah blah, or is a very overdone moniker." So I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll just try HEARTcore." And then the reason I've written it out is because I got announced as HEARTcore Shazza McKenzie over the weekend or whatever, and then I had people coming up to me and be like, "Oh, you're a hardcore wrestler." I was like, No. HEARTcore, heart, because I've got a heart.
Yeah.
No tax for me, please. No eating black and yellow. Not my style.
So in Philly, you will stop at your car, but CCW is way out the question, huh?
Yeah. I'll just do the Shikara for now. Yeah.
I might as well put my 2 cents in there then. If that's the case, throw some hearts around it so that there's no misinterpretation, because we live in an era where people don't read.
Yeah, I know.
So throw a few emojis in there, like, oh, I get it now, but duh, it's already spelled out.
It's just when someone says it, it's on a microphone, it's very hard to understand.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hardcore. No. No.
Well, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy flight after flight, and probably sleepless nights and all that other good stuff to chat it up with us. And we definitely look forward to coming to you coming in town Friday.
Yes.
And we can catch you on Twitch Saturday and Sunday. So but yeah, definitely. And this show is brought to you by the sponsors of Dennys, because we need that plug.
Yep, sponsor me.
But again, so much for joining us, and everyone who's tuned in and all the tweets and all that other stuff. We appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys Friday. I don't know. We got something else coming up this week. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, we'll figure it out. Thank you for tuning in, y'all.